bro. I'm not using the dope blog.
You aspire to be that level of troll.
I aspire to have that much power. Yes, I aspire just to
aspire. You pray every night, God, please, just one time, let me troll that hard.
Oh, no, perfectly. Like, not like I don't. I must have been. God must have been like, I got you today, dude. You've been working all week. I know. It's been a long week, and it's like, what could make this guy just happy in like a way?
The holidays are coming up. Merry Christmas, Charles. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll. Charles is always daydreaming. We're two guys that like BSN at work. All right. This is another quote-unquote surprise pod for Charles, although I just saw something that might suggest that he knows what I'm about to say, so the surprise might be over, but that's okay. Either way, if you can't tell, it's probably a DC thing, and it's official, not yet, but it's official. The DC universe as we know it is ending.
Oh yeah.
And
you don't own anything Superman related, do you?
No, I don't. Fuck Superman. And
whoa, hostile.
It is a complete reboot going forward. And I got notes. So let us do this.
Oh, it's okay. You did that on purpose. I was like, well, there goes my laptop.
No.
How dare you use this classic comic as your bullshit when you don't even like Superman?
I don't like Superman. And it is indeed the death of Superman. Okay, so what's going on? What for people that don't know, what's happening here? Here's what we know. As we discussed in another pod, James Gunn and Peter Safran are making their own DCU. It's no longer the DCEU. DC is getting its own proper studios, thank God, DC Studios, and they're calling this new movie universe just the DCU. He recently tweeted, I believe yesterday, as of this recording, that the DC slate is complete. They finally finished it. They're going to present it to Zaslav, I'm guessing sometime this week. We, the fans, will know something more next year. And I put hopefully January, February. I'll get into that later. What we also know is Wonder Woman 3 has been canceled. There's rumors going on why it's been canceled, who canceled it. Did Patty Jenkins leave? Did the studio cancel it? Doesn't really matter. It's canceled. We're not quite sure if Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman, but we do know that the third installment of that trilogy has been canceled. We do know that Jason Momoa is out as Aquaman. It's rumored that he's coming back as Lobo. That's kind of something that we kind of know already. It's a character he really wanted to play, and he was very, very excited about something a couple of weeks ago, and he posted on social media. And James Gunn posted a picture of Lobo when he was like posting a bunch of different characters that he wants to do in the DC universe. So the theory is that he's done as Aquaman, but he will be returning to play Lobo. Hopefully in a Superman movie, because that is like a Superman villain. And Lobo is a pretty cool villain. Apparently, Ben Affleck could come back as a director. That was something else that James Gunn tweeted, that they actually met because he wants to direct. It doesn't look like he's going to be back as Batman, but he wants to direct something. And part of that is because he just started a new company with Matt Damon. And it looks like he kind of just wants to do more of a directorial thing than act anymore. Like that's his new phase of what he wants to do. His company wants to produce and direct movies instead of just acting in them. And remember, he wanted to direct his own Batman movie. The Batman before was the Matt Reeves project. That was supposed to be the name of the Batman, Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie, and it was supposed to involve Deathstroke, and something happened and it just never worked out. And that's why they gave it to Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves put his own twist on it, created his own thing, and we got the Batman, which I'm not complaining. The Batman was amazing. So, but I'm pretty sure a Ben Affleck directed Batman movie starring him and Deathstroke probably would have been cool too. But unfortunately, we never got a chance to see that. But The reason why we're doing this pod is because yesterday it was also officially tweeted out by Henry Cavil himself that he is out as Superman, and there will not be a Man of Steel 2.
Whack.
Now, there's a bunch of different rumors going around, and so I'm not going to cover that because it's all speculation, and there's too many to go around, and it gets convoluted. So that's why this is what we know for sure has happened.
If you go back on YouTube especially and just look up rumors about the MCU, the DCEU, comic book movies in general, you can find some ridiculous rumors. And sometimes it's funny what was so right so early, but that's few and far between compared to some of the ridiculous BS that gets circulated when it comes to rumors around who's playing what movies are being made. Because I feel like so much of the time, people are reporting on conversations, not actual scripts, not actual, going into production, but just an actor and a director having a lunch and just imagining what the stuff they could work together on.
And honestly, even the logo thing, I probably should not have added this in here. But like I said,
oh yeah, I think that's BS. I was letting you finish. I saw that line. I've known who Lobo is forever, and bullshit. You're not getting rid of Jason Momoa, who was more or less like loved as Aquaman because of the one movie he had. Got pretty good reviews from like fans, I mean. And to bring him back as Lobo, I just don't buy it. Until I see the trailer of him as Lobo.
Well, the only reason why I added it is because he has been on the record saying he really wants to play Lobo. And we know James Gunn loves those obscure characters. And there was that video of him celebrating because he got off the phone with James Gunn. And he was super excited about something. He's like, I can't say anything yet, but da-da-da. And so that's why people think, okay, he's going to be Lobo. But again, that's rumor. We do know he's out as Aquaman. We just don't know if he's going for good.
Yeah, he could have just got a ridiculous payday because he was getting told HBO wants to bring him back for like one scene as Khal Drogo, and he about to make 6 figures for 1 day's of work or something.
Right. So
that's BS. I made that up in my imagination, guys.
But but to your point, the point of the matter is we don't know. Like there's been speculation today about what James Gunn wants to do with Superman. I didn't add that because again, all we know is Henry Cavill is out. All we know is Wonder Woman 3 has been canceled. All we know is Jason Momoa will no longer be Aquaman.
I think Henry Cavill is actually the biggest L because Gal Gadot is cool. The first movie is a great movie, Wonder Woman 84 left a bad taste in people's mouths to the point where I don't think that many people are going to be disappointed. Surely kids are going to be disappointed there's not going to be another Wonder Woman. But overall, adults, I think they're just kind of like, okay, who else is going to play Wonder Woman now? Jason Momoa out as Aquaman. I feel like he got the raw end. Like there definitely could have been an Aquaman sequel that everybody would have checked out.
Well, Aquaman 2 is supposed to come out next December.
What?
Aquaman 2 is supposed to come out next December. And I'm gonna get to that.
I thought that got trashed. I thought it was one of the movies that got trashed.
No, the only movie that got trashed was Batgirl and a Scooby-Doo movie.
But the fact that there's not going to be a Man of Steel 2 even, like that's like I think Man of Steel is the best Superman movie.
I agree.
Like I'm one of those people that I don't have the nostalgia for Christopher Reeves like so many people a couple years older than me. I respect them for what they are, how influential they were.
Dude, you said this when it first came out. Like Man of Steel is the reason why there's still hope for a DBZ movie. Because like the action scenes in that movie are exactly how we always envisioned a live action Dragon Ball Z movie to happen. So for a lot of people like Man of Steel. But so let me get into that, right? So I'm glad that you said that about Aquaman, because here's what I think is going to happen next. If they are rebooting this franchise fully, I think the next phase of this is they are going to cancel all those movies next year, because we know Warner Brothers is still almost, that has billions of dollars in debt. If they cancel all the movies that they're supposed to have 3 movies that come out next year, if they cancel all of them, actually, 4. If they cancel all of them, they can make almost $1 billion back in tax write-offs if they just cancel them.
Yeah, but here's the catch too. They could make that billion off Aquaman and Flashpoint.
But here's the problem though. if you're and here's why I think it makes the most sense to just cancel it. Who's seen that movie now knowing that it means nothing?
I mean, I think tons of people would see a Flash movie with Michael Keaton in
it. Maybe.
Like, I don't think everybody needs movies to be some part of some larger universe to go out and enjoy.
And again, I'm glad you're saying that, because I was going to get to that later. But I think that's the problem. Warner Brothers does not have faith in fans showing up to the box office. It's just been proven. Black Adam lost money. So at the end of the day,
but Black Adam isn't the Flash or Aquaman.
I get that. I no, you're right. But what I'm saying is, Superman movies weren't making money. Like nothing.
No, Superman definitely made money, but that's my point too. Superman is not the most beloved character, but he's just a well-known IP. The fact that they had a Flash movie bringing back Michael Keaton was nostalgia crack for everybody that's over the age of 30 for their original Batman. And I think that's completely different than a Black Adam movie. A Black Adam movie where they have the most expensive movie star in Hollywood.
No, I get you, but the numbers show that the first Wonder Woman and the first Aquaman were the only movies that made any type of substantial money. Man of Steel flopped at the box office. Batman versus Superman flopped at the box office. Justice League flopped out the box office. So these three movies. So again, I loved Henry Cavill as Superman. You loved Henry Cavill as Superman. Apparently, everybody loved Henry Cavill as Superman, but it didn't show up when it mattered, which is financially.
Man of Steel was a commercial success. It had a $225 million budget and made $668 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's a financial success. It's not a flop.
What about Batman versus Superman?
Batman versus Superman made $872.7 million at the box office.
And how much was the budget?
I'm gonna hope for the best on this pull up, but I don't know. Around 250 million. That was because they wanted $1 billion. That's why that was disappointing. As far as the actual money, it was over. You got to remember too, perception is reality. When BVS dropped, it was during this run of Hollywood blockbusters where episode 7 was dropping. The MCU was at its peak. So that looked like, I'm just explaining to you why you're like, that was a flop. It was a flop for nerds.
Not for me, not to me. I'm talking about from their perspective.
So that's what I mean. Like we expected that movie should make $1 billion, and it didn't make $1 billion. So in our memory, it's like, oh, that wasn't a hit. No, it wasn't a hit because commercially they made money, but people expected more and they lost faith. It's like whatever a number 2 album, like an album that's number 2, volume 2, or a movie that's number 2 makes more money. And then even though we might have liked the original more, or the third one makes the most money, that's because the second one was the best one, not because the third one was the best one. And then you see this terrible drop off because you lost our faith in all this stuff. So Wonder Woman, like it's funny because Wonder Woman was after BVS. Mm-hmm. So I just don't buy this. Oh, well, they don't believe that people. No, you don't believe that the casual that actually doesn't give a shit about the story is going to come to your movies because you've been letting them down nonstop for so long. Because Wonder Woman was cool, but the majority of people hated Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, that has nothing to do with
movie. It was a bad movie. Yeah,
but I'm saying that has nothing to do with the success that Aquaman 2 could have if it's just a better movie.
No, I agree with you. What I'm saying is, if you're a company that's $3 billion in debt, right, and you're rebooting your superhero franchise, you have two options. You can put these movies out and hope that people show up and watch them, if nothing else, as a farewell to the DCEU. Or you can, or you can say, you know what, I'm not even taking that chance, and I'm gonna cut it. And the reason why I can see them cutting it is because they have to make up this money back somehow.
Yeah, I just don't see them. Maybe the Flash, but that's because of Ezra Miller, not because of this. That's just my opinion. Like if they don't put out the Flash, it's because they don't have the faith that the people want to go support his crazy ass more than anything else, right? Shazam made that was a good movie. Like, I mean, like as far as what they expected, what it did, the reception, there's no reason to cancel a sequel. Aquaman, it's the same thing. Blue Beetle, yeah, cancel it. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, who is that for? That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you, but I guess my point is I can see their perspective, because at the end of the day, the fans, like that's the one thing that people have said about DC fans. Like we talk a lot of shit on Twitter, or I'm gonna say they, because I've seen every single DC movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like I just haven't seen. I have a baby, man. I haven't gone. I didn't go see Black Adam, mostly because I knew who Black Adam was before The Rock was cast.
No, but what I'm saying is DC fans have a habit of hyping shit up on Twitter, but then when they go to the box office, they like, guys, let's be real here. And we could blame the studio for making subpar movies or inconsistent movies, but we could blame, at the end of the day, the fans have not been there. The point of the matter is Marvel, when you look at Marvel movies, even their quote unquote flops have been very commercially successful. Whereas DC, not so much. And then granted, you can make the case that DC hasn't put out consistent enough content for people to just show up and trust it. But at the end of the day, if you're the company, you're looking at this and you're saying, look, man, why put this out here and risk a lot of people? Because there's another part to this too. A lot of people might say, fuck this, I'm not going to see this. Why am I? Like, there are some people that will say, I'm not going to see this because what's the point?
No, sure, but that's the minority. Like, if you're going because you want a TV show in your theater, they're more of the minority than the hardcore fans is. So if you're trying to base everything off of a greater,
I disagree with that only because again, the box office numbers have not been there for DC movies, and I think,
but that's because, bro, what was the drive to go see Black Adam? It was only The Rock. Like I'm just curious of what the other DC
movies. See Shang-Chi. Who the hell knows who Shang-Chi is? Shang-Chi still made a bunch of money.
Yeah, but you're okay. But that's, again, you're comparing an established decade-long running thing to something that is not nearly a decade old.
But my point is, at the end of the day, if you're Warner Brothers, whether it's their fault, whether it's the fans' fault, at the end of the day, fans have not consistently come.
Yeah, because but that's my point. You're still giving them credit for putting the cart before the horse. You're trying to get fans that are fans of an established universe that you've never established. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't fault the future movies because they're not part of some established universe, because you want the fans that want an established universe. So you're never going to establish anything if that's your floor is, well, we need to have everything to be known. So just keep putting out Batman movies, because that's the only option. If that's actually the train of thought here, the train of thought should be, make it like what we were talking about last time we talked about HBO. Make a good movie, and what I think the problem here was, Wonder Woman 84 came out during the peak of COVID, so it's a little bit different than Black Adam, right? But I'll take Black Adam. It's the newest DC movie. Who the fuck wants to see that? I want to see it because I'm a Rock fan and I like mindless action. But don't act like me and you were hoping for, or anybody. I don't know who these people, who that was necessarily targeted at, because it certainly wasn't the audience they were pretending it was targeted at. Like, hardcore comic book fans don't see Black Adam as some type of anti-hero.
I mean, I get
like you might as well cast Sinestro as Will Smith. Like, what do you mean? Or Will Smith as Sinestro.
But I guess my point is, again, those are the sins of the past. This is a new regime, and all they can go off of is the numbers, right? And what they're saying, and again, they hired James Gunn to do a job. In his mind, it's best to just rip the Band-Aid off and start with a clean slate.
I'm not saying that, but I can't believe they're going to cancel Shazam. Like honestly,
I said could. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I'm saying to you. I don't think
people.
I think that's so
happen,
far.
It makes sense.
No, it's not that it doesn't make sense in what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't buy it, because if that movie is anywhere near, if that movie is a hit, there's your billion.
Yeah, but all right, I guess my point is, do I want to take the shore billion, or do I want to pray to God that the fans show up? Like, with a fan base that has been very flip-floppy.
Bro, I don't think the fans are going to show up if you cancel 4 or 5 movies in a year and then tell everybody that, because, okay, if this is the scenario you're saying, fans have 15-second attention spans, and it doesn't matter. Like, put it out. Because if you're saying they can wait 2 years to start this universe, so put the movies you made out. Because they won't care anyway.
Well, no, I mean, I guess my point is, if they were good financially, I think they would put it out, right? When you're $3 billion with a B dollars in debt, you do got to think about these things. Do we take the short billion? Because you're right. Between Aquaman and The Flash, they could make probably $2 billion off those two movies, right?
Aquaman, Shazam, and The Flash, I think they can make their money back. I don't know who will be.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. But the problem is, fans have not consistently shown up. And the problem is there's controversy now with these movies because we're restarting this thing.
I think, and if I had to come to the middle ground, right? Say hypothetically, you were arguing cancel them all and I was arguing keep them all, right? I think the compromise here, it's the way to save some money and then bet on yourself still, is put out Shazam and put out Aquaman. Because if you put out Shazam and Aquaman, they're the ones that I feel have the best chance at performing. Flash, I would feel like if it's good, if it's a great movie, word of mouth would carry.
Everything we're hearing is a fantastic movie.
But if is it fantastic to us? Like, me and you love Snyder Cut, but we know that Snyder Cut in theaters might not have did numbers, right?
True, very true.
So is the Flash movie now low-key going to become the next Snyder Cut? Like, actually, they shouldn't have canceled. It's one of the best movies. Oh, it's been 2 years. It's already a tax write-off. Maybe we put it into production and release it on HBO Max.
Well, I think with a tax write-off, it can never see the light of day because you can't make any money off of it.
That's some fugazi shit. Then no, it's never happening. Like the way the Flash, and this is only for the Flash, right? Because the other two they can scrap, and we'll never see Aquaman 2. Let's be real. I want to see it, but Jason Momoa ain't that much of a draw. So I think the Flash would be the one they like, let's just shelf it. Or is it a write-off? No. Because they might just keep pushing it back until Ezra Miller is, oh yeah, remember that guy? And not the pariah he is now. He is weird. He needs help. He's there's just one issue after another with that dude. I hope he gets whatever it is under control.
And apparently he has been going to therapy and getting help. So that's good.
Yeah, he needs therapy. I don't know if it's substance abuse too, but it's definitely some type of therapy that he needs. Because the way he's acting, you could tell dude has been in Hollyweird since he was a kid. And I'm not trying to go into any type of weird conspiracies, but I'm just saying, like, kids that grow up in that weird ass Hollywood environment, they just don't know how to act when regular life catches up with you. You know what I mean? Like those regular feelings of being 25, 30 years old and like the fuck you've done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure to somebody like Ezra Miller that was supposed to be like the next dramatic guy, like the next what's Kylo Ren's real name?
Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
Like I feel like Ezra Miller was supposed to have Adam Driver's spot. And Ezra Miller is looking at his career kind of like, I'm just the Flash. That's kind of what I was a fan of.
He was Professor Snape in the Fantastic Beasts movies.
I never saw any of those movies.
Yeah, but I mean,
No, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to hate. I don't.
No, but I'm saying like his actions have ruined two major franchises for him, both with WB. But the point of the matter is,
damn.
The point
How are you fucking up, bro? How are you fucking up that bad? Like, bro, like that's another thing. Like, okay, good for Leo and the most elite actors. They're like, I'm too good to be a superhero. The rest of us that are human beings with regular lives know if I'm getting paid millions to pretend to be a superhero, shut the fuck up and enjoy it. Like,
I agree. But yeah, but here's the thing. The point is, I can see a full cancellation because they need to get their money back. But the other problem with that is that means we're not getting anything major DC related for probably 3 to 5 years.
And a chance.
Because if they do this, either way, after this year, we're probably not going to get anything for 3. Well, besides, we know we're getting Joker 2, and they're working on the Batman 2.
Exactly. We're not going years without WB properties.
But my point is this new DCU, if they decide to do this, and that's another quote unquote rumor that he might just use Matt Reeves as the Batman as the new Batman. And we'll get into that in a second.
That'd be fire.
But if they do this, because think about it, they're just now putting all this together. This is just ideas on paper, right? And yeah, they might be doing some background things and looking for directors and stuff like that. But y'all know how long it takes a movie. It takes at least 2-3 years to make a movie. And they're just in the process of figuring out what movies they want to make. So the one other problem with this is if you don't put these movies out, you have nothing on your docket, really, for the next 3 years. You'll probably get Joker 2 in there in 2024. I believe that's supposed to come out. And maybe you'll get the Batman 2 at 2025. And that's if they start production on that soon. But other than that, we're not going to get anything of significance for at least another couple years. And so do they want to go that route? Because that's damaging to a company as well. Like, yeah, you got your money back this year, but now you don't have anything really major going for you for the next few years. Again, we know the Matt Reeves stuff on HBO Max, but that's just the streaming stuff. Your major stuff going into theaters, you're not going to have anything for another at least 3 to 5 years, realistically, unless they rush everything, which I don't think is smart either, because you can't put out a bad movie. If you're going to reset it, the first movie you put out has to be a hit. It has to be. So I don't know.
I'm just annoyed. Like, Henry Cavill was the great Superman. Like,
well, see, and Matthew, let's get to the next thing. What I think has to happen next, right? I think they need to get ahead of all the controversy because, again, right now it's too many rumors, too much swirling around. I think they honestly need to, January 1st or January 2nd, they need to come out and say, hey, this is our new shit. This is what we're doing going forward, right?
Shenanigans. Shenanigans on your points. Bullshit, sir. No.
What do you mean? Why?
Because I want Peacemaker. Fuck you. I don't want to reset everything. Like, I want Peacemaker.
But see, again, I'm only saying this because I'm telling you, DC fans are different from Marvel fans.
Nah, I'm telling you that's bullshit. Like, the problem is thinking that people just don't want quality. Because I can apply all these arguments about fickle fans to phase whatever we're in 4, right? Like the money has not been the same. It's starting to go down.
It's starting to go down, but it's still been pretty good.
That's my point.
It's still been pretty good. It's
going down because even though me and you overall, if we actually like lumped everything together, me and you mostly enjoyed phase 4. We're not like, oh, this is trash. Me and you mostly enjoyed our time here. But even with us mostly enjoying our time, we know this shit that what's it? Quantumania better be good, or phase 5's in trouble. It's already in trouble. They're already cutting because that's the little bit of quality goes down a little bit. It's still so much better than the 90s, right? But a little dip in quality. We hit that 2006 like level of entertainment, and shit hit the fan. So I don't think
you are 100%. We're here.
I don't think DC fans need everything rebooted. You can keep John Cena.
No, but here's what I'm getting.
If I don't get a John Cena Rock fight in the goddamn DC,
but hold on. But this is what I'm saying. Let me get to my points. This is my point. I think if you're James Gunn, you can't play favorites here. Because to be fair, if you're gonna say, well, these movies weren't doing well, that's why we're scrapping it. You can't keep Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. All 3 of her movies flopped. All 3 of them. She's been in. As a matter of fact, the one starring her, Birds of Prey, was considered the worst DCEU movie, and it did financially the worst. So
no, I get that, but as far as the Suicide Squad reboot and the Peacemaker show, those are some of the highest rated quality things.
But again, the Suicide Squad did not do well
because of the point you just made. The point I've been trying to stress. It was the 3rd installment of a trilogy.
I understand. Again, we're here, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter why it happened. The point is, it did not do well financially. And my point is, these fans are already, because it's Henry Cavill news and everything else, they're already like, I read it all day yesterday. Oh, I'm done with DC. I'm done with DC. I'm done with DC. And I'm like, y'all shut up, because if the movies were making end over end money, this wouldn't be a thing. They weren't. So this is why we're here. And my thing is, the worst thing James Gunn,
bro, sorry, but real life sometimes got to creep into this, right? Did you see, like, this just happened today? So everybody that's watching this in the future doesn't know this is brand new right now. Did you see what Trump did, or what he shared today?
No, I did not.
NFTs essentially, but they're collectible trading cards
Of himself?
Of him looking like a superhero. They're cringy. It's beautiful watching it burn. But anyway, the whole time I saw this, I texted somebody before me and you even talked. He probably thinks Homelander is the good guy based off how this looks. Vought International on Twitter.
Oh my!
Huge announcement. Official Homelander digital collectible cards have arrived. Celebrate, yada, yada. Took no time to troll him. It is amazing. I'm sorry. I had to cut it off because I was like, Vought Internet. Bro, I'm not using the dope blog.
You aspire to be that level of troll.
I aspire to have that much power. Yes, I aspire just to
You aspire. You pray every night, God, please, just one time, let me troll that hard.
Oh no, perfectly. God must have been like, I got you today, dude. You've been working all week. I know it's been a long week. And it's like, what could make this guy just happy in like a way?
The holidays are coming up. Merry Christmas, Charles.
Not only is Cult 45 crashing, not only do I get to just watch everybody laugh at them, because it's not me. I didn't wish death. It's like, I hope people laugh at you. I hope you step on Legos, asshole. And then my imagination comes true, and it's fucking Homelander. I love it. Fucking, it's a wrap. Thank you.
Anyway.
The only way today gets better is as on this pod, we get a notification that Henry Cavil is going to be Aegon the Conqueror in a Game of Thrones prequel show. That's the only way, because then me and you got to go play the lottery. We're going to leave the camera on and just take it with us to go play the fucking lottery.
Well, and see, that's the thing, right? Now, again, Henry Cavill, I don't know how you could bring him back as another player, because how do you go from Superman to anybody else?
He's gone. The worst part about Henry Cavill is he's been a great Superman, and he's the Witcher, right? And he left the Witcher, which made people think, okay, he's going to be Superman way more seriously.
Well, they brought him back in October before James Gunn came in, and it's like, well, that's unfortunate.
Be honest, bro. If the world of Ice and Fire could grab him, just do it.
I'm with it.
People are like, oh, maybe he'll be in House of the Dragon. And listen, I'm the nerd here. Fuck that. Make him Aegon the Conqueror, and Brett could appreciate this, or make him Rhaegar Targaryen and just give us the Robert's Rebellion prequel show. But he's got to be Aegon. That motherfucker is Aegon. Just like he's James Bond, if we want him to be, just like he looks like that. Yeah. Just make him Aegon the Conqueror. Give him his 2 sister wives. Sorry to say it like that if you were unaware what the story is. And just
this is twice now out of context. You're trying to get us canceled. First it was Jason beating up high schoolers. Now it's this.
I wasn't just beating up high schoolers. Was I just beating up high schoolers? Or was I just running down on these kids?
Anyway, back to this.
Homework.
The point I'm making is, I agree with you. I like the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was great. Peacemaker was fantastic. But I guess my point is, if you're James Gunn, you can't play favorites here. If you're gonna reboot it. Because it's not fair. Because that's another thing. If you're getting rid of the big 4, if you're getting rid of the Flash, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, how are you
big 3 and the Flash? The Flash isn't even Mario Chalmers.
No. Well, come on. In terms of superhero lore, the Flash is a huge superhero. Maybe not in the
I just felt like throwing shade at all the Flash fans.
Well, at the end of the day, my thing is, if you're gonna reboot them, no offense to Peacemaker, but who the fuck is Peacemaker? Yeah, it's a great show, but nobody's gonna sit here like, oh my God, We lost Peacemaker. You didn't even know who Peacemaker was before last year. Not you.
Listen, I don't know what kind of voodoo's going on in this pod, but they just declassified like 13,000 documents related to the JFK assassination.
Oh, wow. Okay. They're just watching.
I can't believe it's going to rain money. Is it going to rain money?
Oh, no, it's coins. Oh.
Like, ah!
Anyway.
Why is it raining $50? No one even uses this currency.
But yeah, I guess my point is, like, if you're James Gunn, you just can't do it. Like, to be fair, you have, if you're gonna reboot it, reboot everything. You could always recast Margot Robbie as somebody. You could always recast John Cena as somebody. You can still use those actors.
I'm sick of your disrespect. I don't need a lot of things in life, but the last two people that need to be recast now that Henry effing Cavill is gone is Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Why? Because I'm selfish and I like watching her as Harley Quinn.
Bro,
I'll just admit
let me ask you a question. You don't think she'd be a great Poison Ivy? Ironically enough,
no. Actually, I don't. She could, like, it's too late because, like, I see her, she's Harley Quinn, right? A Poison Ivy. I'd have to think about who could, like, because I want to see Poison Ivy across from that Harley Quinn. You know what I mean?
And Margot Robbie wanted to do that movie, but my point is, ironically, I think she would be a great Poison Ivy.
Yeah, but you can't make her poison. That's like making Henry Cavill Green Lantern.
Why not?
Because he's fucking Superman. That's why.
Like, yeah, but let's be real. Poison Ivy, for the longest part, was a bigger villain than Harley Quinn.
Bro, I love Poison Ivy. Like, that's, like, I'm not even joking. Like, that's one of my favorite Batman villains, period, because, like, she's a villain that makes sense in her own head.
And to be honest with you, let's be real. The people that love Margot Robbie just because they're sexiness, that's the whole Poison Ivy's whole gag, is that she uses her feminine charm to. That's what I'm saying. Margot Robbie would kill that.
Yeah, but that's why she's perfect as Harley Quinn. Because also, I think Margot Robbie is a better actress than she gets credit for.
She's a fantastic, but that's my point. She's a fantastic actress. She might honestly be a better Poison Ivy than Harley Quinn. Like, she's that good of an actress where she can really use everything to her disposal. And that's the, like, you know, I just think that there are places for all of these characters. And like I said,
Ana de Armas. Am I saying her name right?
Who?
Ana de Armas. She was.
Oh, she's in the John Wick movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cuban chick. That's Poison Ivy. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm just letting you know. Like, it wasn't like I had nobody. I was like, oh, what's this chick? She's an awesome actress. It was in my head. Like, I was like, because she plays everything from sexy to innocent, believably, which is exactly what you're describing as Poison Ivy. And then she'll go from help me to haha, bitch, you're poison.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that she and Margot Robbie could be the birds of prey that we should be getting, but we're never gonna get. But
I can see Margot Robbie as Catwoman. Like, Margot Robbie could play any role she really wants to.
No, we got our Catwoman, bro. We ain't giving it back. Zoe's Catwoman.
I'm saying if they decide to keep the Matt Reeves universe separate from it, because I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
How funny was the trolls online? I can't believe they made Catwoman black, and then there's people showing them from like the 1960s show. Like, I hate to break it to you,
but we've done this already.
this lady was black back when it was really not cool.
not to mention, who plays her in the anime? Is it Rosario Dawson? No, Rosario Dawson plays Wonder Woman. Sanaa Lathan usually plays her in, like, whenever they do like a DC animated something.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Sanaa Lathan plays her sometimes. Yeah. So her being black has, like, been a thing, guys. Like, relax. Like,
but you know, and just to bring it up, I know we said it on here before, but just notice that no one gave a shit that Commissioner Gordon was black after they saw the movie. They saw the movie, they were like, well,
he's our Commissioner.
That was good. Because, like, I remember using him as an example when they're like, well, how come we're not going to make Black Panther white, or whatever the fucking conversations are when it comes to, especially with, like, House of the Dragon and Rings of Power. Like, if it changes the story, that's when we care. Like, when you make fucking black kings and Chinese kings and Egyptian kings British, that's when people care. Like all these characters, if you just hit the role, like, I've always been in favor of Bruce Wayne could be Asian. I'm gonna piss off a lot of people. Bruce Wayne really could be Chinese. Like it wouldn't change anything about his character.
Or like when people were mad that they made Starfire black, I'm like, instead of what, orange? Like I'm confused. Like
I was even more confused because, and you called me out on this so fast, but I saw you're like, this is the actress, and I said I don't see any problems. Like, yeah, we know you don't see any problems. I was like, I don't know. Is she supposed to be hot? We're like, that's not the conversation, Charles.
I was like, it's supposed to what, an alien? Like, you want us to get a real alien to go play Starfire? Like, I'm confused. Hold on, let me call NASA real quick. We'll go get a Martian.
Do you have any orange vixens in space?
Right.
What did you just say?
Can we go into Area 15 real quick and just get
Area 15, not 51.
51 days. I'm sorry. Can we go to Area 51 real quick and get one of your aliens out here, because we want to make it true to the comics.
Area 15. It's only sneakers and a couple t-shirts in here, really. There's nothing really that interesting in Area 15.
Gift shop. It's just a gift shop.
It's a gift shop. There's a Starbucks in here. There's that random room that everybody that works here never uses.
Anyway, the last thing that needs to happen, again, fans, y'all gotta support, bro. Because again, at the end of the day, right or wrong, studio's fault, others' fault. The point is, people haven't been showing up consistently. And at the end of the day, and I said this on our last pod, right? When we said, like, hey, how could we save DC? How could we save Warner Brothers? I said, y'all got to show up. You have two choices to make. Either show up for these movies and show that you care, or don't show up and see what happens.
But I think that happened because this is like 6 weeks later, and Black Adam was out. But I think there was the only hardcore DC fans that I think that you're referring to that actually exist did what you said to do. They didn't want The Rock in charge of the vision of the DCU. So like me, even though I'm a big Rock fan, one of my favorite wrestlers, I like his action movies. I like most of his movies for the most part. I didn't rush out to see Black Adam. Me and my wife made time to go see Black Panther 2. That's not a Marvel versus DC thing. This movie looks like a better movie that I can spend my 2.5 hours than this movie that I can just wait until it hits streaming. No, it wasn't I think the DC Marvel thing is so overplayed because if you're on Twitter, you think Elon Musk is the most beloved person on the planet. But if you're a regular person, that's bullshit. So I think a lot of the time, me and you, just as the nerds we are, we'll get wrapped up in a dialogue in our community. We're like respected on like our respective online communities. Well, me and you will be like, I can't believe people think this. Then we talk to some normie and we're like, oh yeah, I'm a nerd. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like I think that does play a part of it.
I think so. I think two things can be true. I think the problem with DC movies has been either just the hardcore fans show up and they realize they have a lot less hardcore fans than they thought, and they're not capturing the imagination of the greater being, or because there's so much controversy that only the casuals are showing up and the hardcore fans aren't showing up. And I think it's one of the two, because at the end of the day, they're just not getting the success that Marvel's been getting, period. And yes, they put out hit or miss movies. Like that's just without a doubt. I'm not saying this is all on the fans, but what I'm saying is I've seen a lot of fans saying, oh, I'm done with DC, I'm done with DC, I'm done with DC. And I'm like, but y'all can't say that, because if we were really rocking out the way we swear we are on Twitter, because again, on Twitter, you would think that fans are going to come in droves to support these movies, and they don't do it. They just don't do it. If they did it, we would not be in this position, period. If they really came out in droves to see these movies, we would not be here right now. That's just the point. That's just it. And so for the fans, y'all got to support this. Oh, give James Gunn a chance. To me, again, I skipped over this one. I think the first movie should be Justice League. They said this on the John Campion show, and I tend to agree with it. It's like, oh, you got to do these origin stories first. No, you don't. We know who's, especially because it's DC, we know who Superman is. We know who Batman is. We know who Wonder Woman is. We know who Green Lantern is. We know who the Flash is. Make a Justice League movie. That should be the first movie you make. Fully introduce us to the new cast so we can, meet them, love them, whatever. and go from there. Like that should probably be the first move, because then again, it's also part of getting out in front of all this other stuff, because there's always going to be speculation. If you just put out a Batman movie, it's okay, great, Batman, but who's Superman? Who's Wonder Woman? What's this? What's that? If you put out just a Justice League movie and do it like that, we're introduced to the new characters. We can learn to love or hate them right off the bat, and you can go from there, right? I think that just makes the most sense. Like that's what I think should happen. Like they should do a full reboot, recast Peacemaker, recast Harley Quinn, rip the Band-Aid off, destroy everything that was DCEU and start over. And the first thing they should probably do is the Justice League. Make it. Now, here's the thing. It's James Gunn. It's going to be more funny. It's going to be more whimsical. Me personally, I'm not really a fan of that. I kind of like the fact that the DC movies were a little bit more darker. Like, I just don't want everything to be the same as the, you know what I mean? Like that's whack to me. That's the whole point of not having monopolies. So we don't have a one thing, being everything. But if that's the route they're going to go, I'll still support it. I get it.
I feel, well, I don't need everything to be dark. I don't think Man of Steel was dark. I think people just were expecting it to be uber bright because of historically what Superman has been. I don't think the rest of the movies were too dark. I watch horror movies. This wasn't dark. It just wasn't the MCU. And you watch The Boys, so that's what I mean. Like The Boys is literally lighter, like color grading than the DCEU has been, but it's not as dark. I mean, it's darker than the DCEU is. But what you said is what we've been saying. Like the animated universe got it right. They started off with Justice League War. Spoilers for that movie in the 10 years of that animated universe. But it starts off with Darkseid and it ends with Darkseid. That's what the story needs to be. That is the story. Like, I hate to break it to everybody, but for the most part, the universe is always reset because usually Darkseid wins. Unless Batman outsmarts him on Apocalypse and game respects game, and he kind of just says, okay, fuck it, you win today, but I'll be back. Like we know the story, the stories are there. There's literally thousands upon thousands of fucking pages outlining this story that they just choose not to do because a couple of executives said we can milk it like Marvel, but we're going to speed it up. And instead of having 7 movies, we're only going to have 2 movies, and then boom, the second movie's Justice League. I mean, Batman versus Superman. I mean, the Trinity. I mean, and it's like, oh yeah, let's throw Doomsday in there. Doomsday is a Justice League movie. But anyway, that's all past shit. You're saying exactly, literally, me and you have said it on this pod, the same thing over and over. Just do Justice League War live action.
Yeah, it's and here's the thing: Darkseid doesn't have to be the villain, but you need a Justice League movie to be like. I think it just makes sense to just introduce everybody all at once and move on. Now, to address the rumor of maybe they're using Matt Reeves as the Batman, I know it. A lot of people don't like that idea, but again, it makes sense because we got to remember we're the nerds that follow all this stuff, and we understand that the Matt Reeves Batverse would not be the same as the James Gunn DCU Bat universe. Most casual people wouldn't understand that. So if they're seeing a movie like, wait a minute, I thought this guy was just Batman. Who's this guy? Like, it gets confusing. So that also goes with the rumor that James Gunn wants to. One of the reasons why he didn't bring back Henry Cavil is because he's trying to go with a younger Superman. And so that's where the rumors are speculating. Like, oh, I think he's trying to bring in Matt Reeves as Batman with a younger Superman and go with a younger Justice League and do it that way. And I'm like, okay, like if that's the role he wants to do, it makes sense because Warner Brothers already just signed that deal with Matt Reeves. We're getting the Batman universe regardless. That's happening. You know what I mean? Regardless, that is happening. That deal is signed, sealed, delivered. They have to put that content out. And it's still in its infant stage. We only have one movie out of it. So it does make sense to say, hey, why don't we just incorporate ourselves into that universe and go off of that instead of letting that.
I think that's can you do it? Is it worth doing it? I mean, of course you could do it, but people are gonna bitch it's too dark, and I don't need that because there's too many people that only watch the MCU that think they know how everything should work. And if you're getting confused at casting choices, I don't care. I just like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to make movies for the lowest common denominator. That's exactly why the DCEU is where it's at. Like the reason people don't want to keep coming back and paying for it is because you spoon feed your audience, you treat them like idiots.
But see, I disagree with that. I think a lot of people didn't like Batman versus Superman because they didn't understand it. You know what I mean? Like the nerds did. Like if you listen to people.
Oh yeah, but that's also because of the studio. Let's be real. Me and you have talked about this before. The 30 minutes they cut out, just from a film perspective, made no sense. They cut out 30 minutes from the beginning. Like the whole movie makes more sense.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, as nerds, we understood that this was the old grizzled Batman, and we understood what that meant. Most people don't. And most
but that's what I'm saying. That specifically that movie, they cut out the scenes that establish that. Think about how little of this was seen, because besides all the African stuff, I'm not going to redo the whole 29 minutes from the beginning. Don't worry. But as something as small as Clark Kent working at the paper and his editor making fun of him for living in Metropolis but never paying attention to the Batman before, like something that small, like, where are you from, kid? And like the joke was, he's like, Kansas. And he's like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like that already establishes that to everybody else in the city, you're an idiot because you don't know who Batman is. But why is that cut out? I took longer explaining it than the actual scene is. That's all I'm saying. Casual people pick up on that. Casual people could pick up, as bad as the casting was on Lex Luthor's plan, if you didn't cut it out of the whole first act. Because then when he sees them together and he's like, it's, he's laughing because it's fucking working. But that's the first time they're actually showing him. He just looks like a douchebag.
No, I get you.
That's all I'm saying. That's my problem. Is like, not only because what you're saying, yes, but the studio fucked up the story, like the storytelling. Because like just like how me and you love The Boys, me and you didn't know shit about that. All we did was watch the show, and he told us everything we needed to know. That's what good films do. So if you're confused about a casting, unless it's like, Aunt Viv or the third Mummy movie, like how slow, even the third Mummy movie, the first line is, you can say I'm a completely different person. And you're too stupid to pick up on it's been a recast. Like, that's on you, not the fucking movie.
Gee, Aunt Viv, you sure look different.
Yeah. That's my point, bro. Like, it's like, this is like 1950s crap.
But that's the problem. That's different. A recast is different from having two separate Batmans going on, right? If you're if in 2024 the Batman 2 comes out, and then in 2025 you're seeing Justice League with a whole new Batman, and then in 2026 the Batman 3 comes out, and then in 2027 you're seeing something else with it. That might confuse.
No, that I understand that too.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody seemed kind of on board. They didn't go to the Batman like, where's Ben Affleck? I didn't see that in reality. Is all I'm saying. Like, I get what you mean, but at the same time, people were like, "Oh, there's 3 Spider-Mans. What's going on?"
Well, no, but for instance, even with Batgirl, one of the reasons why they said a lot of people didn't like it was because
it was trash.
But they said that it had Michael Keaton in it, and people didn't understand what was going on because, again, the Flash movie had not come out yet, which established that Michael Keaton was back as Batman. So there is an element to that. Like, me and you understand because we follow this news and we are nerds like that, and we know what's going on, and we can say, no, that's something different. That has nothing to do with this. But like, for instance, if my parents were to see the movie, they're like, "Yo, this is horrible. We don't know what the hell is going on." Because they do that with the MCU sometimes. They're like, "Yo, what is this? What does this have to do with anything?" And I have to explain it to them. And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then when they rewatch it, they could, understand it better. Or if I see a movie, I'll tell them ahead of time, "Hey, make sure you watch this, this, and this before you watch that. That way you'll understand it more." So that's what I'm saying. Like, we know that stuff, but a lot of people might be confused if you have 2, 3, 4 Batmans out running around. And so David Zaslav already said we don't want that. We want to cut it down to hopefully one, which might mean that they might have no choice but to put in Matt Reeves as the Batman and wow, why can I think of his name? Who played him? Robert Pattinson. Yeah, Robert Pattinson. They might have no choice but to put him in as Batman. And because of that, you might need a younger Justice League because you can't have a year.
Oh, no, I'm down. What you're saying I'm fine with. I'm just also arguing at the same time, like, if you make a good movie, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, that's true. WB, at the end of the day, whatever you do, for the love of God, make it good. Which is why, again, like I said, if it takes you 3-4 years to do this, do it. Because I'd rather wait and get a good product than for you to rush and put something out and it's trash. Because if the first movie you put out is trash, we're gonna be right back to where we started.
Amen, bro.
Like that's.
Do you have another slide? I have to run in a second.
No, I think this.
What? I was kind of gypped. I was hoping for another slide.
No, I told you this one was. I'm actually surprised we went this long.
Oh, really?
No,
really? You're surprised my ass could talk about Batman-related activities for this long? I couldn't find my Batman shirt. The irony was I had a feeling this was it, and I don't know where my Batman shirt is. Like, it's just I'm like I don't know where this is.
Give me those pictures of Spider-Man. And listen, James Gunn, if you're watching this, all Charles wants is for John Cena and The Rock to be recasted so they can fight.
Yeah, honestly, I don't care who they are, as long as they fight. Like, you can tell me go watch WrestleMania again, I will, but that's not the important part. I want them to have superpowers now, and I want to see them fight. That's all I really want. If anything, cast the.
Do you think John Cena would be? Do you think John Cena would be a good like Hal Jordan?
He's too big. Motherfucker's too big. Like, honestly, like, he's too ripped to be Al Jordan. I'm trying to think of like who he could play.
Al Jordan. Which Green Lantern was like the sarcastic one? Was that Guy Gardner? That was more like the asshole one.
No, I think it was Hal Jordan.
It was Hal, right?
Well, they're both assholes. That's the thing. But yeah, like if John Cena, John Cena made Peacemaker so great, it's like you could just make him at anything. He's gonna work at it. But like, there is no Captain America in the Justice League, so like that's my thing. And since he's not going to be a major Justice League player, I'm like, what villain can he be?
Booster Gold? That is right up John Cena's alley. He would be an amazing Booster Gold, honestly.
Bro.
Oh, I'm sorry, because Peacemaker this.
I know. What am I gonna say? He turned Peacemaker. I'm trying to look up Booster Gold now. I
just thought about he would be, because that's Peacemaker, just a good guy. He would be Booster Gold.
Or you know what he could be, which would actually be an awesome way to work around him. Make him like after Superman dies, how there's all those fake Superman. He could be the robot one, or he could be Superboy. You know, like, be real. If he was acting like a child, but he looked like that, hilarious.
No, but honestly, Booster. The reason why I said Hal Jordan, because I think The Rock would play a.
You know who he could be? I'm not even being funny. You know, like which villain he could be? Fucking Zod.
He would be a great Zod, absolutely.
Because he looks like he can kick somebody's ass.
Well, I was just saying, if you wanted The Rock and John Cena to fight, I think The Rock could play Sinestro as basically fucking Black Adam, and then you would have John Cena as Hal Jordan.
Yeah, The Rock or John Cena has to be Zod, though. Like, they're built like how we're imagining Zod.
The Rock would definitely be a great Zod for sure. The Rock could be Zod because if he wants a redemption arc, I think Zod is more of a character. Honest with you, and I hate to say this because this is kind of racist. If Jason Momoa is not going to be Aquaman, why not put a wig on him and make him Aquaman? Like, it's a little racist. That's super racist. Not all Polynesians are Aquaman. You're fucking racist. No, but he obviously doesn't want to play a villain. He wants to be either anti-hero or a hero, right? So great. So you can still put him as Aquaman. You can still have him fight Superman at first because maybe he doesn't want to join the Justice League, or maybe Superman blows something up and it goes into the ocean. So now he has beef with Superman. So you can have that initial fight that we all want, or that he wants, because he wants to fight Superman, right? But now he could be a returning hero. I think he would be a great Aquaman. I really do. Like, if you know what I mean, if the one-liners, because that's the thing about Aquaman. Like, Jason Momoa brought, like, he was a perfect Aquaman because he did the one-liners without being too cheesy. With The Rock, you just gotta let him be full cheese bait Aquaman, which is unfortunate. That's one of the reasons why Aquaman doesn't get the respect he deserves, because too many iterations.
He would have to be Shazam. The Rock can only be Shazam. Like, him playing a kid in that role, he could do that. And same with John Cena. John Cena could be Shazam too. Be the grown Shazam and just act like a child. Both of them are capable of that.
They're definitely both capable of that. I'm just trying to think. I think The Rock could definitely be. See, I would want him to play Sinestro because it would force him to play like a serious villain role and not this anti-hero, not this corny hero. And I think he could do it if given the chance. Like, yo, man, like, just be intimidating. We don't need the one-liners. We don't need the cornball stuff. Just be intimidating. And he could do that. And if you had John Cena as Hal Jordan, at least physically they match up well. But I do think The Rock would be a fantastic Aquaman.
Just because you think all Polynesians are Aquaman.
No. But seriously, like, as a character, again, he can be corny as he wants to be. He's still super strong. So physically, he can still look the part. You know what I mean? And actually, you don't even have to put the wig on him. You can do a bald interpretation of Aquaman. Why not? He doesn't have to have the flowing locks. I think he would be a great Aquaman. Matter of fact, can you imagine The Rock with the hook hand? That would be awesome. And he's just clubbing people with his freaking hook hand. That would be awesome. And then, like I said, you could put John Cena as the Flash would actually be hilarious. I just see he's just too big and fast for his own good. He's just running into shit.
like John Cena can't be a Justice League member. I'm just saying, like, he's Superman or he's not, and then that's the only two options.
Yeah, I was gonna say Superman. He can't play Superman, unfortunately.
He could do a grizzled Batman, but even he's too funny.
That's what I'm saying. He has to be like a comic relief character, which is usually either the Flash or some interpretation of Green Lantern.
Yeah, he's too old to play Cyborg. He's not black, which is just what Cyborg is now. So, like,
yeah, like, so that wouldn't work. You can play Beast Boy, I guess.
Stop. All right. Tell them where they can find you. We're done. We forgot we were recording, and now we're just talking. Like, that's where we're at now.
He could play the gorilla that Beast Boy transition.
Bro, Gorilla Grodd, man. John Cena's Gorilla Grodd. Yeah. Fucking sign me up. Bro, hilarious. Or The Rock. They don't get enough credit for how entertaining those two men actually are.
Wait, who's the other gorilla in the Legion of Doom? Moho?
Oh, you are really. I have smoked too much weed to remember a cartoon I watched in the 90s. I'm like, I haven't watched since. You are trying to get me to remember some deep, dark-seated shit. If you want me to remember that fucking swamp base rising up from the ashes, I remember Bizarro. That's what I remember from that cartoon.
I mean, he's been around way. So you obviously haven't seen Young Justice or any of these.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know. I'm older than you. Thank you. All right, not the Chuck D on Instagram and Twitter. Always with your Young Justice. We get it. You love the Teen Titans. They're great. You love them. Cyborg, Booyah. I know it means a lot to you. Ugh, I get it. I'm your old Batman in your imagination. You get to be the fun young one. I'm just over here like, the world sucks, kid. Have fun while you can. I understand that. Thank you. Okay. I'm Fat Batman. I'm Fat Batman.
The 60s cartoon. Meanwhile, in the
you knew what I was referencing. You knew it. You saw. Not only did you know what I was referencing, you saw the scene I was referencing. And you're going to try to act like I made an obscure reference. When you fucking were like, I remember that. Why is Chitara giving me all these feelings? Like, that's you.
Meanwhile, it's Super Friends.
Yeah, the Super Friend.
I'm like, what is he talking about? I just watched this last week. You're talking about something from the 60s. Anyway, you can find me at
www.thedope.live.
You can find me at Never For Brett Me, NEVA_4 BRETT_ME on Instagram and Twitter. See, this is what happens when we don't record after a while. We just
It's been too long. We got
you
to record other dirty shit.
Yeah, you said your shit already. You if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe.
We got to record the House of the Dragon shit.
Oh God! And join us next time if we ever record again for another moment discussing people's episodes. I'm about to look this up because I'm going to text you who this person is.
Okay.